To give a couple of minutes for everyone to come in and join. It's nice to see you. We were having some technical difficulties, but don't worry, it's all resolved now, and it's great to see you. Excellent. We'll just maybe give us a couple more minutes until 5 minutes pass because we were expecting a few more than this who were registered from RICS. So we're going to just give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get into it. Thank you so much, everyone. It's 2 p.m., so I'm hoping by now you had some lunch, maybe a bit of caffeine while you were having the lunch and ready to go. All right, all right. We're just gonna, for those of you who just joined, we're about to begin in a minute. As soon as it says 5 past on my clock, I just want to give people a little bit longer to join. Welcome to everyone from RICS. We're really excited to have you on today's session. Yay. And this session that you're joining today is on the diversity survey, and it's about how to report your organization's diversity data. We will be walking you through exactly how to do that, but also talking to you a little bit about the benefits of doing it and showing you what you get out the other end after you submit your data. So submitting your data is great. Everyone should be doing it. But what are those benefits? Okay, great. I'm going to just jump right in now that Liban is back. You might be wondering who's chatting to you all this time. I am Dana James Edwards. I am the head of FIR here at Action Sustainability and the Supply Chain Sustainability School. And Liban is also on this webinar with me today. He's a data and business analyst also here at the school. And you'll be seeing Sybil on screen as well. Sybil, you might know, is from RICS, and she's going to come and give us some additional perspective as well on why it's important to present your data. So I said head of FIR, but just so you know, FIR is not about the trees. It stands for fairness, inclusion, and respect. And it is how we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion here at the Supply Chain Sustainability School in a way where people don't feel left out, left behind, like we're not talking about them, to them, for them. And our general message is that we're here to make workplaces better for everyone, no matter who you are at work. The FIR program has expanded over the last few years. We now have over 550 resources, from toolbox talks, which are normally shorter than 10 minutes, to e-learning modules, which can range in durations from that to up to 90 minutes. We have guides and checklists for best practices, and also case studies to be able to showcase organizations who are doing their best and making a change, and when it comes to inclusion, and telling you a little bit about how they do that as well. We also run a series of conferences and events, much like this one, across the year, and we'll be able to tell you a little bit about those later. So a little bit of admin for today. You can ask us questions throughout. There will be moments where we pause for your questions, but even if we aren't paused, you can ask a question. You can ask the question in the chat. And also, it's so few of us today. Guess what? You could unmute and ask us a question out loud if you wanted. That is absolutely allowed as well on today's webinar. The slides will be shared, and also any resources and the report that we linked will also be shared for you, as well as the recording of today's session. So those will all come out after today's session for you. In terms of an agenda, we're going to talk just a little bit about what the survey is and why it's important. Then it's the big event, how to report your data. Liban's going to show you, walk you through step by step, and then we'll show you some of the insights that you can get from your data. So without much further ado, let's get started. What is the survey and why it's important? Now, the survey's been around for a little while. Put a bit of a timeline up all the way back to 2011 when National Highways kicked it off. So initially, they collaborated with about 15 of their suppliers who voluntarily provided their data. They were using Excel spreadsheets to do it. But then the demand for this grew so much, driven by people's desire to discuss and share issues around quality, around their findings and their data, that it kept growing and growing and growing until 2018, where the number of people participating got so large that we needed to standardize things and do standardized metrics. Before this, they were collecting data, but without any real guidance. So in 2019, a collaborative effort began between National Highways, but they brought on board the other major transport clients, Network Rail, TfL, and HS2. Their goal was to learn more about their supply chains, do some benchmarking for the industry, and promote improvement. Bringing us to 2021, when the first truly collaborative exercise began involving the supply chain school and introducing online submissions. So that was the initial iteration of the diversity survey as you experience it today. The diversity survey platform streamlines the data collection process for suppliers and also provides dashboards that showcases industry benchmarks based on that sort of aggregated data. So the dashboards not only allow you to evaluate your performance against the industry benchmark, but also now we use ONS, Office for National Statistics, working age data as a comparator. So that's from the census and representing the UK population as a whole. It's a really great comparison point because it enables organizations to benchmark themselves against the UK average, which is great. So that's where we are now in terms of the survey. Now, did you know that our diversity data benchmarking survey is the largest across the construction and built environment industry? It totally is. When I first joined the organization back in January, my very first task was to read and feed back into this report. It was a brilliant way to start. It shaped my understanding of the industry, who was here, where we are, where we need action, and how we can evolve the FIR program to help. And I'm not the only one, because I've been attending series of events across the industry, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard stats from the report getting cited and quoted. I used to be surprised in the beginning. I'm not surprised anymore. But what I'm saying to you is that the survey is really important for us, for the industry, because the more data we have, the more accurate a picture that we are able to build up, which is really important for us. Now, imagine for a second being on a journey, but having no idea where your start point is, where you want to get to, and where you are on that journey. That's kind of where we are without data. So without data, we can't truly create fair, inclusive, and respectful workplaces because we don't know where we are. We want to collect data to identify issues and trends, like real challenges, because anecdotal data is not always enough. We need both, right? Qualitative and quantitative. We also want to be taking evidence-led actions. So we want to be making decisions and setting up initiatives that are based on data rather than assumptions so that we can be more targeted and impactful. And we also want to be able to measure progress. So tracking progress is a lot harder without data. We need to be able to assess whether our inclusion efforts are making a difference and adjust accordingly. We really want to be doing best practice as an industry. Collecting data is an essential part of that. So what I'm really saying to you is better data is better action, and your input helps us build a more accurate, inclusive picture of our sector. And that's my 2p worth. But now Sybil's gonna give her 2p worth as well, adding to the reasons why it's important to submit your data. Over to you, Sybil.
Thank you. Right. So thank you everyone that's here, especially those of you who are RICS member organizations. This is important to us, following on from what you've said, Dana, that it's important for us because we don't really have anything to tell us how we're doing as a surveying sector specifically if we don't have anything to compare it to. And trying to compare our sector with larger ONS data is daunting, it's complicated, whereas this industry benchmarking survey helps us narrow that down and see how we're doing as a surveying profession compared to the rest of the built in natural environment, which is a much more direct comparator to see how we're doing. It also helps us see where we can influence our member organizations. It helps us target our discussions. Like you said, the benchmarking report has been huge. I reference it all of the time in my speaking engagements because, to your point, and it does challenge assumptions. We hear a lot of industry experts or industry leaders talking about the skills gaps, and they'll say we need to get more people interested in the built in natural environment. Well, the data tells us there's more than 600,000 people that applied for built in natural environment, roles alone last year. So the statement that people aren't interested isn't true. It's, are they interested in the right roles? Or are they applying for the kinds of roles that we need people in? But it also tells us more nuanced data, like, it challenges some of the perceptions of, the bulk of those applying for roles, 55%, I think, were from global ethnic majority backgrounds, but only 27% were women, and so it does give us areas. The data tells us exactly where to focus our attention of who's interested in roles and not getting in, who's getting into roles, but there's not enough people applying. It definitely helps in so many ways of driving our strategies in a much more direct and focused way. And if our member organizations start taking part in this survey as well and continue taking part in this survey, it gets us all joined up and focusing in the same direction. And so this is our strategy. I'm talking past this slide. These are the kinds of things RICS is looking at. The next slide, is getting at what I'm talking about now, which is how every single one of our member organizations can contribute to driving us in the right direction for surveying and for surveyors. The survey aligns with the rules of conduct guidance that's out there that sets the expectations for our firms, and it gives you a really, really valuable tool to not only focus your strategies, but see how you're doing as compared to the industry versus that larger ONS data set that I was talking about. So I just think it's a brilliant tool. We're really excited to be partnering with Action Sustainability on this. This is our third year partnering for the survey. Last year, we saw 68 of our firms take part, our member organizations take part, and we have a goal this year of getting at least 80 of our member organizations jumping in on that so that we can start painting a more clear picture of how surveying fits into the bigger puzzle.
Love that. Thank you so much, Sybil, for giving us that context and that insight. Really reinforces the points. And I love that you're using the data in your own context as well. So that is absolutely brilliant. So now, with the context well and truly set, I can hand over to my colleague Liban, who's going to talk you through how to report your data. I'll stop sharing because for this bit, he actually goes online live and demos it for you. So over to you.
Guys, thank you so much, Dana, for providing that useful and important background on the system. I just want to introduce myself. So my name is Liban Ahmed, and I'm a data and business analyst at Action Sustainability, and I'm also part of the people leading the survey this year. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen so I can show you how you can input your data effectively into the system. Please bear with me. I can't see anyone's faces, so please let me know when.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. It's there.
Perfect, thank you. So hopefully now you can see my screen. I'm currently showing you the landing page of the diversity survey, which is available at diversity.sustainabilitytool.com. So this is the main page, and from here you can access all the support resources we've created for you. And you can also create your own supplier account from this page by clicking on the Create a Supplier Account button below the login box. So now let's start by going through all the support resources available on the landing page. So to access the resources, you'll just need to click this section titled Measure and Report Your Organization's Diversity Data. Once you click on it, you'll be taken to the landing page. And if you scroll a little bit down, you will see that we have bite-sized videos. So what we've done is we've created very short, easy to follow videos on how to register, how to report, and how to navigate your dashboard. If you scroll a little bit more down, you'll be able to see these guides here, which you can download and which will assist you throughout the process. So for companies with over 250 employees, so that's your current employees plus your voluntary leavers, you'll need to submit your data via the logs, which I'll show you how to do shortly. But here you can download the full metric list, which is a document that includes all of the metrics in the report and the logs that you need to upload your data via if you have more than 250 employees. The light metric list here is for companies with fewer than 250. And if this is your first time collecting diversity data, I recommend downloading the duplicable survey. This template can be sent to your employees to gather ED&I data before you input it into the system. I also just want to say that you can download the FAQ document, which should answer most questions about the diversity survey. However, if you still need help, please email us at info@sustainabilitytool.com, and that email will be shared with you in the chat shortly. If you'd like to sign up for our other webinars, which are just exactly like this one, we have one more next Thursday. So you can, register through here. So you'll just click on the Register Now button, and it will take you to the school page where you just need to finalize your sign up. We also have free FAIR resources. So these were created to help build your understanding around fairness, inclusion, and respect. So I highly recommend you guys give these resources a look. Now I'm just going to go back to the home screen to show you how to create your supplier account. So from the landing page, you'll just need to click on create a supplier account. And once you do that, that will take you to the registration page where you just need to fill in the required details. So that's your name, your email address, a password, and your company name. So I'm just going to quickly fill this in so you know how to do it. So my password. Now, when it comes to the company name, when entering your company name, please avoid using acronyms or suffixes. So what do I mean by this? For example, if I was filling this out, I would put in the full legal name of my company. So I work for Action Sustainability. So I'll just put in Action Sustainability. And I wouldn't use, for example, AS, which is short for Action Sustainability. After that, I don't know what's going on here. Let me reload. Just log out. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this bit. So you just need to click on I'm not a robot once you filled out your details, and then click on register. And then what will happen is an activation link will be sent to your email, and you just need to click on that activation link, and then you'll be able to log in. So now I'm just going to log in and show you what your report looks like. So I'm just going to refresh my page, log in, and just wait for my report to load. Perfect. So this is the reporting interface, and it's structured into 4 steps to keep the process simple and efficient. So step 1 is the company information. So this is where you input your company information, and you just need to click on the blue button, and then you'll see this pop-up box will appear. So I just want to note that when filling out this section, you can select more than one option. For example, where it says, please select your sectors, you can select a few. So as an example, I'm going to select, let's say, aviation, building infrastructure, and let's say civil engineering. If you make a mistake, you'll just need to click the X to remove the incorrect selection. And then after that, you just need to complete the following. So you'll just need to select your clients from the drop-down list. I'm going to select some of my clients. Select any contractors you work with from the list below. Select the organization you're a member of. So in this case, you would select RICS. Answer if your organization is typically a contractor or consultant. So I'm going to go with contractor. And then just pick your tier. So I'm going to go with tier 3. And just choose where your headquarters is located at, where your organization operates at. And then you see this question that says, did your company respond to an annual workforce diversity survey last year? So this is a yes or no question. So if you have, you'll just click yes, and then you'll get to the company size. So when we're talking about company size, we're talking about your current employees plus your voluntary leavers. So in this case, I'll just say I have less than 10 employees, and then I'll say I've got 4 current employees and 4 voluntary leavers. And as you can see, as soon as I put in my current employees and voluntary leavers, this coverage of data box will auto-populate based on what I put in these value boxes here. And then I'll just recommend you giving your information another quick glance. Once you're happy with it, you can click on Save. What that will do is just save your, store your company information. So press OK. Perfect. Steps 2 and 3 is all about uploading your data. So if your organization has more than 250 combined employees plus voluntary leavers, you must upload data via steps 2 and 3. If you're fewer than 250, you may skip to step 4 and enter data manually. However, we recommend completing steps 2 and 3 for easier input and better data quality. So step 2, it's all about your current employees. I'm just going to click on it. And what you would find here is that you can input data in 2 ways. The first one is line by line using these drop down arrows here. Or you can upload your data via template upload. So in order to get access to this template upload, you'll just need to click on the yellow download button, and that will download the template for you. I've already done that before, so I'll just show you what that looks like. So as you can see, this is the downloaded template. It's got 3 sheets. The first
Dan,
sheet,
sorry, but you're going to need to swap your views because we can't see the Excel.
No worries. Thank you so much, Dana. Can you see my Excel sheet?
Yes, we can now. Absolutely.
Perfect. So once you download your template, you'll see that it has 3 sheets. The first sheet is just instructions on how to input your data. The second sheet here is your current employee log. So this is where you enter your data. And then the third sheet is, it has a list of all the valid input options for the survey. So what do I mean by this? Your data might use slightly different terms than the ones that we use for the survey. So what you will need to do is you'll need to edit them to match what's listed on the third sheet here. A quick way to do this is just to use the Control F functionality. So just Control and F. And what you could do is just find and replace those inputs that don't match the ones on the third sheet here. I just want to show you a finished version so I can show you how like you put in the data. So please let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So I just, this is just some dummy data that I have put in to show you how to fill it out. I just want to say that if you don't collect certain data, for example, let's say on disability, that's okay. But what we ask is that you use the unknown option from the drop down. Please use this option and not the prefer not to say option, because the prefer not to say option is for people who have chosen not to provide this info at a individual level. I also just want to know that for the last column, which is about annual salary, this is not required. So if you don't feel comfortable in disclosing this data, that's okay. You can just leave this blank, and then you can still upload into the survey. Once you've inputted all your information and you're happy with it, the next step is to save the current employee log sheet as a single CSV file. So what do I mean by this? I mean, we just need to delete the home sheet. So I'll just delete that. Just delete the input value sheet. And then we just need to go on to file, save our file as a CSV. So I'll just choose CSV and then save it to our computer. And then what we could do now is just go back onto our survey. So I'll stop sharing and share again. So what we can do is just use this upload from CSV button. And then we just need to search for our document. And then just wait for our data to flow into our dashboard. Have a look at your data. If you're happy with it, you can just click on this button that says click here to submit. If you've made a mistake, you can use the clear all data button, and that will allow you to reset and re-upload. If you've made a mistake on a single row and you want to rectify this and don't want to delete everything, what you can just do is use the black drop down arrow this here, and then what you could do is click on edit, and what that will allow you to do is edit that specific row. But once you're happy with everything, you will just click on this button to submit, and you will just wait for your data to flow into the survey. So I'll just click yes, proceed. So this takes like a minute, so please be patient with the system. Perfect. So my data has been successfully processed and my report will load. Perfect. So next is step 3. So step 3 is about your voluntary leavers. So I'll just click on it. And what you need to do is just repeat the same process as step 2. So again, you can input your data using the drop-down arrows or through the template. I already have my voluntary leavers data in hand, so I'll just search for it. And just wait for the data to flow into my dashboard. Perfect. Again, I'm happy with it, so I'll just click here to submit, and I'll just wait for the data to flow into the survey. So click on yes, proceed. And just wait for a minute. So yes, my data has been successfully processed, and then my report will load. Perfect. So once step 3 is done, you'll have access to step 4. So I'll just click on to step 4. And here what you just need to do is you need to go through each of these tabs and just number 1, make sure that your data has flown in correctly and you're happy with it. In certain tabs, for example, disability, you'll see this, like these questions, which are yes or no questions, and you just need to select on the option that is relevant to you. And then as you're going through your report, you'll just mark the section as complete. So that looks like that. So as you can see, there's a green tick next to disability, and you just need to go through your report. If you've used the logs, like I've said in steps 2 and 3, you see that most fields should already be populated with the data in your logs. So that's for all the tabs, all the way up to company policy. When you get to here, from now on, you need to fill out the rest of the report manually. So here you can just see some questions, the yes or no questions. So you just need to choose the ones that are appropriate for you. And then I just want to speak about pay gap. So if your company has over 250 employees, you're legally required to report gender pay gap data to the government. So you should already have this information available to input into the survey. So we ask you to please enter available data on disability pay gap, ethnicity pay gap, and gender pay gap. If you don't have this data on hand and you can't report, you'll just select no and mark the section as complete, and then you're good. So once all the sections are marked as complete, they'll have the screen tick next to each other. You can then just click on save. But before I move on, I just want to quickly say that if you have more than 250 employees, but don't have your data in a line-by-line format, so you can't do steps 2 or 3, please get in contact with us and we can ensure that we adapt the report to meet your needs. Once all 4 steps are complete, you can submit your data. So you just click on the submit survey button. If there are any issues, you'll see a warning message like this pop up when you hover over the submit button, and it will tell you what the errors are and where they are in your report. After submission, your data will flow into your organization's dashboard, but it will just take a few minutes to appear, so just have to be patient with the system. I just want to show you what your dashboard looks like. So this is your dashboard, and you'll see these panels here, and you can look at each protected characteristic. So you can look at your age data, your disability data, your ethnicity data, your gender data, and so on. If you click on, for example, age, and you scroll down, you'll see these age indicators pop up. So if you're interested in looking at the percentage of employees between 35 to 39 in your organization, you'll just click on it. And if you scroll down, what you'll be able to see is your data broken down by period. So if you've reported for previous years, you can see this year-on-year breakdown, and you can compare your data against the industry benchmark and also the ONS benchmark as well. Also, what you could do is you can compare 2 indicators with each other. And to do that, you'll just need to click on another indicator and scroll down. And what you'll be able to see is this visualization here. And this is good if you want to see spot patterns and trends in your data. I just want to scroll all the way up and talk about the industry dashboard here. So move this black bar away. Yeah, so regarding the industry dashboard, so submitted data is also aggregated at the industry dashboard level where it is anonymized. Please note that industry level data will not be visible until January. And the reason for this is because this allows time for all reports to be submitted, cleaned, and aggregated. I do also want to say that the industry dashboard is a paid feature. So if your organization has access to it, you'll receive an email when the data becomes available. And there you have it. You have successfully submitted your report. And I'll just pause to see if there's any questions and then hand over to Dana.
Great. I'm just going to pause for a little bit in case anyone had any questions. They wanted to unmute themselves at this point or maybe pop something in the chat. I always find sometimes that there's no questions, but then when we say, do you have any questions? Suddenly there is one, almost like we gave you permission and then you came up with a question. If you had one, you could put it in now. But remember, you are free to ask your questions at any point in time, and then we'll pick those up as and when. So even if you don't think about one right now, as we walk through the rest of the session, you might think about others, and then please do pop them in the chat for us. Yep, double checking, couldn't see anything in the chat, so I will move on in the interests of time. So you upload your data to the system. And what happens? Well, as Liban just showed you, you will have access to your dashboard and you can do comparators. You can also see industry dashboard if you've paid for that feature. But also we produce this, our diversity survey benchmarking reports that we do every year. And I just want to give you an idea of some of the key insights that we get from this report. I'm going to tell you 5 things, but there is so much more in the report because, as you can see, it covers all protected characteristic data. So ethnicity, gender, pay gap. We even have like company policies in there now. This year we did board level reporting for the first time. There's a lot in. I'm just picking 5 things that really stood out to me from the report. We will provide you a link to download it when we're sending out the wrap up at the end of the session, so you can take a look and see what interests you the most. The first thing that I want to pull out is some industry data on women in the industry. So increasing the proportion of women in the industry has been a priority for quite some time. In this year's survey, women made up 24.6% of the workforce, and that is down from 29.1% in 2023. So a 4.5% decline year on year. And on face value, that's really scary. So I want to put some context on it to explain the number. So the bulk of this decline can be attributed to incomplete reporting data from one of our large facilities management companies. So if you take out that facilities management companies' data year on year, the actual decline is only 0.3% rather than 4.5%, which is better. But before we celebrate, it's still movement in the wrong direction, right? So that's not something we want. And it's also a position that's significantly below the ONS working age figure for women, which is 50.8%. So we're sort of halfway there, which signals that there is quite some way to go in terms of work in this space. I'll talk about ethnicity very briefly. So our latest data is showing some really positive signs when it comes to attracting groups that have historically been underrepresented into the sector. So ethnic minority representation rose from 13.6% to 15.2% in the last year. And by the way, that's the highest level ever recorded since we began the survey. So the increase is really encouraging and it reflects steady year-on-year progress. However, we do need to keep perspective because that figure is still nearly 5 percentage points behind the ONS benchmark, which is 20.2%. So we're moving in the right direction and it's great, but still some work to do there as well. Let's think about LGBTQ plus representation. So it increased, so positive news again, by 0.5% to 2.5% in 2024. Now, if you take out that large FM company again, that's potentially as high as a 0.7% increase. So we're celebrating a bit because it's good news, still below the ONS working age figure of 3.9%, but progress is good and we'll take it. And then also want to add that in 2024, 0.05% of employees identified as being gender non-binary or gender non-conforming, which is an increase as well year on year, 0.02%. And I want to note for you that going forward, the survey will offer transgender options alongside the current gender options based on feedback, well, from people like you. So we listen to you, we take your feedback on board, and we use it to iterate the survey year on year. Let's think a little bit about age. So when you compare the age distribution between 2023 and 2024, there weren't really any significant changes. However, what's interesting here is that the 25 to 59 age group is overrepresented in our industry. We're at 76.2% in that age range, and the ONS working age figures are 68.6% in that same range. So we have a higher concentration of mid-career professionals within our industry. And at the same time as that, we have a decline in employees who are under 25. So that's down to 7.3% from 7.7%. So as an industry, we have challenges in attracting and retaining young talent, which is going to be a critical factor in the long-term sustainability of the workforce. The ONS working age figure for this group is 12.8%, and we really need to be thinking about this seriously in order to prevent a further skills gap, which ties in to what Sybil was saying when she was presenting at the beginning of the session. And last, but by no means least, I want to just show our board data. So our last report was the first time that we were able to report on this. And we had 84 organizations of the circa 500 who submitted their data provide this. So data for 627 people in total. And what we found was that boards have 22% female representation, only 6% from minoritized ethnic groups, and only 2% self-identified as having a disability. So that's another thing that we might want to think about. And it's great that we are collecting and focusing on this data because it gives us a starting point for being able to benchmark and compare moving forward. So those were just some key insights for you to show you that your data does not go into the abyss. We aggregate it. We use it to create insights that are very useful to create a whole picture of the industry. But there is absolutely so much more than that to the report. And I would recommend you giving it a scan when you have a moment. Now, inputting your data into the survey is absolutely free, and the dashboard that has your data on it and shows you comparators is completely free to access as well. We would be happy if you just submitted your data and accessed the dashboard. We are good with that. We're not here trying to upsell you, but we do need to let you know that there are paid options as well to give you increased data. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing our jobs. And I'm actually going to hand over to Liban to walk through what those options are.
Thank you, Dana. So a lot of you on this webinar might be wondering how a thorough understanding of your organization's diversity landscape could be harnessed to drive real change. Well, our survey offers two robust paths to understand and do exactly that. So what we're going to do is just explore how you can leverage the survey to your advantage. Before I delve into what you gain from the internal benchmarking and supply chain insights plan, I just want to go over what you receive for free. So at no cost, you get the ability to, one, track your progress annually with year-on-year reporting. You get to visualize your data on your own personal dashboard. And finally, you can benchmark your organization against the industry and ONS benchmarks. So that's that. Next, we have the internal benchmarking option priced at £3,995 per year. And this investment is your entry point into a world of tailored strategies and measurable progress. So with the internal benchmarking plan, you get one, a tailor-made action plan focused on your unique internal metrics allowing you to address specific areas within your organization that could benefit from enhanced diversity initiatives. You also get the opportunity to benchmark your performance against your peers, providing you with a competitive edge and understanding of where you stand in the landscape of ED&I. And lastly, you get increased visibility through intuitive dashboards that make your diversity data not only accessible, but also actionable. On the other side, we offer the supply chain insights at £6,995 per year, which is an investment in comprehensive understanding and engagement with your suppliers regarding ED&I. So opting for the supply chain insights means you'll benefit from one, automated data collection from suppliers, which streamlines the process of gathering vital ED&I data. You get the ability to engage suppliers further on the topic of ED&I, fostering a culture of diversity and inclusion throughout your supply chain. And you get empowerment of suppliers to address ED&I through increased visibility over performance, encouraging a symbiotic relationship that champions diversity across the board. So these options will help you in understanding the diversity landscape of your organization and also supply chain, and then help you drive changes. What I'm going to do is also show you an example of the reports that you receive as part of both the internal benchmarking plan and the supply chain insights plan as well. So I'm just going to share my screen. Please bear with me. So hopefully you can see my screen. I'm just going to walk you through what you get as part of the internal benchmarking plan, which is priced at £3,995 per year. So this plan gives you a few powerful options. So first, you can compare your company's diversity data against competitors, the industry benchmark, and the ONS benchmark. While we can't name specific competitors, if you give us a list, we can anonymize the data so that you can still make meaningful comparisons. As you move through your report, you'll notice that it's broken down into sections, for example, age and gender. And in each section, what you get is an insight into your data, followed by a summary that analyzes your performance, highlights what's working, what's not, and offers actionable insights on how to improve. We'll be sharing this report with you after the session because it's quite comprehensive and we want to give you time to review and digest it properly. But if I just scroll all the way to the bottom of the report, this section, you'll see that we have a summary of findings section. So this section, we're highlighting to you where you're making the most progress, so your relative strengths, where you're making the least progress, so we're highlighting what the most significant challenges are. And we also have this, and the areas that need attention. And then we have this section also, which is called the moving forward section, where we provide tailored suggestions to help you strengthen the diversity within your organization. So that's that. I just want to show you the supply chain insights plan as well. So this plan is priced at £6,995 per year. And this report is designed to help you understand and assess your supply chain's diversity and see how it compares to the industry benchmark and the ONS benchmark. So just like the previous report, the structure remains consistent. So you'll see detailed insights into each protected characteristics, such as age, gender, ethnicity, etc. And you will also see a summary section that follows that outlines what's working well, what's not, and specific areas that might require attention. If you scroll all the way down as well, we also have that summary of findings section, where we highlight what your relative strengths are in relation to your supply chain, what the most significant challenges are, and we also have this moving forward section where we provide tailored suggestions to help improve the diversity within your supply chain. So that's that. So just to summarize, the internal benchmarking plan focuses on your own organization's diversity data, helping you understand and improve internally. The supply chain insights plan goes a step further, giving you a broader external view by analyzing your suppliers' data against national and industry benchmarks. If you'd like more information or want to explore which option is right for you, right for your organization, please feel free to reach out and we'll be more than happy to discuss it with you in more detail. So that's it from me. I'm just going to pass back to Dana.
Okay, just a few last bits. The survey's open now, it's live. You can start uploading your data right now if you chose to. And the window for that closes on the 31st of July, 2025. So really action sort of needed right now, action stations to get your data in. We run the launch event for this that tells you all about the current year's data in January. So in January 2026, the new report comes out with a lot of fanfare and an in-person event. So you can look out for that one. All are welcome and it's free to attend. And your organization reports will also go live in January, but that industry data that Liban was talking about on the dashboards, the comparators, that goes live in February of 2026. So we use all of the time from now to clean everyone's data, to be able to analyze it, to put it into a format that is digestible, to do reporting so that we can then share it with you in the new year. So if you're thinking about sharing your data, please do think about doing it sooner rather than later. Now we've got a few minutes left, and so I'm going to stop talking and stop sharing.